Joining us now, one of our favorites, a friend who has been with this program from day one, Tom Fitton at Judicial Watch. A Merry Christmas Eve to you and your family, Tom.
Oh, thank you very much, and Merry Christmas to you and your listeners.
There's a lot to pick up on the comings and goings last week, and let's go in chronological order. On Wednesday, the FISA court, the court that issues FISA warrants, they issue a statement. People are saying, "Oh, this was scathing. It was so damning to the FBI." What am I missing here? I mean, first of all, no punishments for the FBI. All they did was say to the FBI, "We're really angry you did this and lied to us. Show us how you're not going to do it again." But secondly, and more importantly, where have they been? Why they didn't have to wait for the IG report? We've all known about these abuses. Shouldn't they have acted sooner? Aren't they part of the problem, Tom?
Yeah, the court was, to put it charitably, asleep at the switch. They did lambast the FBI in an extraordinary fashion. They essentially said, "We don't believe anything you're telling us, and tell us why we should." But on the other hand, you've got evidence of criminal conduct related to the court process, and the court doesn't seem terribly interested in pursuing any of that. They've asked additional questions in another court order released last week in the first part of the month about the FBI lawyer who was referred for criminal investigation for altering an email, changing Carter Page from a CIA asset into a rogue who needed to be investigated under a spy warrant. Outrageous conduct. But again, no evidence that they wouldn't do anything to investigate it criminally. Look, we had asked for records, for instance, of the court hearings. You would have thought they would have held court hearings about the spy warrants targeting the President of the United States and the presidential candidate. And the answer we got back from the Justice Department was there were no court hearings. 4 warrants targeting President Trump, 1 targeting candidate Trump. Well, 1 targeting candidate Trump, 3 targeting President Trump. Not 1 FISA court hearing.
This is remarkable because, there has been plenty that we have learned over the course of the last year and a half, Tom Fitton, that didn't require an Inspector General's report. I mean, the second they knew that the Hillary Clinton campaign paid for the evidence presented to them, that should have triggered a hearing immediately, I would think.
Yes, but are you picking up a pattern here?
Yeah.
IG reports aren't designed to get you justice.
Yeah.
They're another process that the bureaucracies go through to delay justice and make those of us on the outside who have a little bit higher standards from doing anything. So we have 2 years of an IG report confirming a lot of information we already know, adding additional information that easily could have been gotten by the Justice Department prosecutors. Instead, we have to wait for the IG report to come out before we do anything. And the court has a similar excuse, it seems.
Speaking with Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch, the other big story, of course, last week was the House of Representatives voting to impeach President Trump. It was the only bipartisan aspect of this impeachment was the opposition to it, with a handful of Democrats crossing the aisle and voting with Republicans saying no, Nancy Pelosi. But where does this stand now? What's with all the shenanigans about whether there will actually be a Senate trial, whether Nancy Pelosi will control whether the Senate takes this up? Does she have that power to do this?
No, she doesn't have the power to do it. The question is the Senate going to let her get away with it? This is a coup against the president. She's expanding it against the Senate. She wants to usurp the powers of the Senate, overthrow the Senate to ensure a scam, a show trial for the president. And the question is, will the Senate let them get away with it? There's no rush because everyone's home for Christmas. But the president can't be put out there without any certainty about how this is going to be handled, and the Senate needs to assert jurisdiction.
Listen, it's challenging certainly for the president to be able to get his agenda fulfilled, but this is how he's been operating since day one. This is beyond what's fair to the president. What about the American people? We voted for this guy. We deserve to have a president who operates outside of the shadow of this constant barrage. Isn't this undermining the American voter?
Oh, sure. It's undermining the American voter. It's undermining your right to govern yourselves. It's undermining the ability of the president to conduct foreign policy and do his job. And, of course, that's what all this has been about, freezing the presidency, freezing the Trump administration from being effective. and it has the ancillary benefits of freezing the Justice Department from investigating the coup cabal and the Spygate gang that was criminally targeting him. It's a terrible situation we're in, and if I were the Senate, what I would do is I wouldn't give it a full trial. I'd do a preliminary hearing on the prosecutorial misconduct of Adam Schiff and the rest, highlight the abuses by Schiff and the illicit nature of this impeachment, and refer it to the Senate, and they can up or down on the report and shut it all down.
But short of the Senate actually doing some sort of outward show of disdain for the actions of Adam Schiff and the actions of the House Democrats, you know how politicians are. They're going to defer. They're not going to wade into that sort of thing. What else can be done? What can Judicial Watch do to go after Adam Schiff?
We sued Adam Schiff. Thank you for asking.
How are you suing Adam Schiff?
For records about his phone snooping, as taking the phone records of Rudy Giuliani and others and publishing them with an illicit subpoena, we believe. So we asked for records under the common law right to public access that all Americans have as citizens, and we'll see if we can get some information that way, because, as you point out, the establishment institutions are hesitant to do the accountability that the American people desire.
But meanwhile, thankfully, Judicial Watch still is there. And Tom, you're doing a great job, as always, running that place. If I don't speak with you before the end of the year, again, Merry Christmas to the whole family and Happy New Year. And we can't wait to see what you are going to do for us in 2020.
Thank you, Larry. Merry Christmas again.
You bet. That's Tom Fitton, and you can keep them going. You want to get struggling getting a Christmas present for somebody? How about a donation to Judicial Watch in their name for any patriot who really wants oversight in this town? Larry O'Connor, KABC.